Welcome to Sound Bites. I'm your host, Holly Whitfield. I am here with Sophia Surrett, a reporter for the Daily Memphian. This week, we are going to introduce you all to Sophia. She's been writing stories about restaurants in Memphis for a couple of months now for the Daily Memphian. So we're going to introduce her and talk about what's new, what's coming up soon in the restaurant scene. Sound Bites is the Daily Memphian's weekly food, drink, and dining podcast. You can tune in on WYXR Radio every Thursday at 11. Or, of course, you can listen, download wherever you get your podcasts, whichever app you like, iTunes, Spotify. You can, of course, listen at dailymemphian.com, too. Before we get started talking to Sophia, I wanted to let you know that if you are listening now on WYXR, up next you can listen to the Sidebar podcast with Daily Memphian CEO Eric Barnes. This week, he's actually interviewing me, along with our Daily Memphian Metro editor, Jane Donahoe, and our editorial director, Mary Casciola. So we'll be chatting very soon. Stay tuned. But Sophia, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So I just want you to introduce yourself. I know that people listening have followed the Daily Memphian's food and dining coverage, and they've probably seen your name pop up on many, many stories. You've been working hard. So tell us, where are you from? How long have you been here? Who are you? What are you about?
Who am I?
Yes.
So I've been here almost about 4 months now. But I'm originally from Birmingham, Alabama. I was mostly born and raised there, spending a couple of years in Peoria, Illinois, and then in Nashville, actually, for a couple of years, and then eventually moving back to where I was, in Birmingham, Alabama. I got a little Tennessee experience, but...
And now you're here.
And now I'm here.
In Memphis. And what do you report on for the Daily Memphian?
So I report on restaurant real estate, so the business side of restaurants. And then I also report on hospitality and tourism, but I say more of a concentration in hotels. And then commercial real estate now, I just got added to that beat, and residential real estate.
Right. So you have plenty to talk about
yes.
in Memphis. Today, of course, we're going to focus on the business side of restaurant reporting in the city. So it's less about food reviewing, although we do have some thoughts on that and some opinions on eats. But it's more with all of the comings and goings. And I've just wanted to say I've been really impressed with your work and your hustle, because keeping up with the restaurant industry in Memphis, and we're not just talking about local restaurants as well, all the chains coming in these days, is a lot of work. So you've done a lot of stories.
Yes. There's been a lot of franchises coming in and out, for sure.
And some people get excited about that, and some people don't. But we cover all of it.
I will say Memphis definitely has more local restaurants that I've noticed, more than I feel like in other cities sometimes.
Got it. Well, let's talk about it then. Let's talk about some of the restaurants that have opened in the city recently that you have covered.
Yeah, definitely. So one that has opened recently is Hive Bagels in Delhi. I know they had an open location. It was more of a wholesale location in Midtown, I believe. Mm-hmm. But they have one downtown now, and it's way more options with bagels and sandwiches, and they have a nice little layout there. And so I've seen that. It's really cool. It's really nice in there. So
that's the place that is on Front Street. It's next to Barware, if you're familiar with downtown. But yeah, I have picked up their bagels a couple times from that wholesale place that you mentioned on Cooper Midtown. But I'm really glad, and we're like selfishly happy that this is open, because it is right down the street from Daily Memphian's world headquarters, as Eric likes to say. There's a couple other new ones downtown too.
So yeah, Amelia Jean's. It's about... I always thought this was interesting, actually, because it's about Carlisle's... It was named after Carlisle's daughter, I believe. And I know there was kind of controversy about that in our comment section.
Oh no!
I know, because he has 3 daughters,
and he just has one restaurant named after
one restaurant. And they supposedly, in our comment section, they were like, wow, only one daughter being named after for their fine dining.
Well, if he opens other restaurants named after his other daughters, I'm sure you will be the first to know.
I sure hope so. But it looks very cool in there. And it looks really neat and nice. I don't know. Fine dining is something new to me as well, as I'm a young adult. Mm-hmm. So fine dining is something I haven't necessarily got to experience as much, but I'm learning to really enjoy it. kind of like also with Chez Philippe, their new chef, Kevin, can't remember his last name, but Kevin, we went there for one of their media nights, and that was definitely an experience for me as well, because it's...
Yeah, what did you get to eat at Chez Philippe? Do you remember?
So there was a 7-course menu.
Of course, okay.
And so I asked to, like, take the menu home, and if our waiter could, like, write out on the sides each individual thing that was on there, because he would introduce it every time he came up with a new meal. Of course, I had never really been exposed to half of these ingredients or meat or anything of the sort. So it was definitely a little intimidating when they would come to the table and say what they were.
And you were like, I don't know what this is. I haven't tried it yet.
Yes. Like, they don't sell duck, though, I will say, because the Peabody with the duck. So that's one thing.
Yes.
They will not sell ducks,
It's
even
one of
though
my
it's a
favorite
French restaurant.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite Memphis fun facts.
I thought you were about to say favorite meats.
No,
And
I
was
actually
like,
do really like duck.
You
but
do really like duck. Well, no.
But, so
Now
yes.
that we're on that topic, yes to both.
So that's Keith Clinton is
Yes.
the new chef, and he is from Memphis.
Yes, he's our first Memphis-based chef. Super
Chez
nice
Philippe,
guy. Yeah, for Chez Philippe. Super nice guy. Super, super nice guy. Really knowledgeable. I've never had caviar, but I had it then. It was just like a little dollop.
No, I love this for you, and it's taking me back and making me remember sort of when I moved to Memphis, which now was a very, very long time ago, but also had not really been exposed to any kind of fine dining. And I worked in restaurants and I worked in fine dining, and that's how I got exposed to it as well. But it was the same thing. We would have these tastings. They'd be like, "It's this. I don't know what it is," but now you do.
Yeah.
So it's fun seeing all this new stuff come through your eyes.
Yeah.
So we've talked about Hive Bagel and Deli. We've talked about fine dining at Amelia Jean's downtown, which is in like the Hyatt complex, I call it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I call it. That's not really
The
what
Hyatt
it's called.
complex.
Sorry. What else new coming up? Was there another bagel place?
Oh,
Was there
Sam's
something?
Corner.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. At the MJCC, so Memphis Jewish Community Center. There is a Sam's Corner there. He's from Israel, so he's Israeli, and he's bringing a bunch of different recipes and different things from there, including it's a kosher restaurant.
Okay.
And so it's one of the only kosher restaurants in Memphis, I believe, other than one that's in a senior center. It's a deli. I can't remember the name of the senior center, but it's there. And so he seemed super excited when I talked to him about opening there and getting to be able to give kosher to the Jewish community, as it's harder to find kosher places to eat around Memphis. And so I know that there's going to be a ton of different things there, from more entree meals to more grab-and-go items. I know they're probably just going to have a whole choice of things.
Delicious.
For the people of the MJCC to try.
I know that there's been several restaurants in there over the years, but maybe it's been vacant for a little while. So
I think it was
Nasharai Deli.
Nasharai Deli. That is the other kosher restaurant. That's what it was.
Thanks, Natalie.
Yeah, thank you. Also, it's not just for the MJCC people. It's for anyone who wants to come in.
That's good to know.
Yes.
That's good to know.
Because I was like, to the MJCC people, but I was like, wait, no. It's open though.
It's for everybody.
It's open to the public.
Anybody who's hungry.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about the thing that I'm really excited about that you're doing. It's a new series of articles.
Yes.
But before we get there, I'm teasing it out. You talked about you ate at Chez Philippe.
Yes.
What are some of the other places that you've gotten to try in Memphis so far? And are there any that, I'm not saying favorite, but are there any that have stuck out to you?
I will have to go into categories here.
That's fine.
Amazing.
That's what we're here for. Yeah, bring it on. Categories.
Awesome. Amazing.
Yeah.
So recently, I tried Cozy Corner.
Yes. Good for you.
That is those are the best ribs I've ever had in my life.
Yum. Mm-hmm.
Like, the best ribs I've ever had. It's not we didn't get dry ribs. We got the wet ribs. And to me, I like more of a saucy rib. I'm not a huge dry seasoning person. I like it. But, like, if I get the choice, I want it.
You're going
I want it wet.
Mm-hmm.
And when I bit into it, just fell off the bone. It was just perfect. It was tender. It wasn't too, it was just great. I don't know how to explain it. It was just amazing.
I think you described it. I'm hungry now.
Literally, me too. I might have to go there after this. And I'm pretty sure it's on North Parkway, if I remember correctly.
You're learning fast.
I'm learning.
All the streets in the neighborhoods.
I sometimes will turn off my maps and like try to direct myself through like looking at the greater map. And
you heard it here first, folks.
Yes.
A Gen Z turned off her maps.
I had to eventually turn it back on because I was going the wrong direction.
That's okay. But you tried it.
I've tried it multiple times. I will say I did successfully do it once. If I can get back to E.H. Crump, because I live downtown, so if I can get back to E.H. Crump Boulevard or like MLK or just something, Danny Thomas, I can find my way home. Other than, just can't do that otherwise.
I feel like this is great progress.
It is. It's honestly something I didn't think I would get to. Like, no.
Yeah.
So.
Well, here you are. So you're exploring.
I'm exploring.
Cozy Corner.
Cozy Corner, best ribs. That's my. I haven't tried any of the other barbecue, but I'm sure it's great. But the ribs, amazing. 10 out of 10.
Great.
And then, so I will say for Hive, I really liked their bagels. Only because the amount of, well, not only, but the amount of cream cheese that they put on a bagel, it's like probably like 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick.
So it's like a 1-to-1, well, like a 2-to-1 ratio of bagel to cream cheese happening.
I would honestly say 1-to-1.
Got
I'd
it.
say it's pretty close, like, which I love. I mean, when I saw it, I was like, this is what I need. When I say I want cream cheese, it's what I want.
Yeah.
But for the people who don't like cream cheese, maybe definitely say no cream cheese.
Got it.
But
These
I don't
are
know.
some pro tips.
Maybe definitely say if you like light cream cheese,
say
emphasize
light.
the light.
Got
Yeah,
it.
just say like a smear, please. Because
I'm taking
there's
notes
a dollop
over here.
Yeah, there's a dollop. There's a dollop of not Daisy, but
Yeah, cream cheese.
But yeah, so those are probably one of my more favorite bagels. But I also like Bluff City Coffee's bagels. Those are really nice. I think they're house made, maybe.
They seem like they are.
Yeah, their sandwiches are really good. And then there's just so many good places around here. Especially because I'm on South Main a lot. And so just because I live like right down the road from it. But I'm trying to think. There's just so many restaurants too.
Have you gotten into any good sushi spots or?
I've been to South Main Sushi. I'm not a huge sushi person because I like it. I don't like it raw. I don't like raw fish.
Sure. Yet.
Well, I did try raw tuna at Chez Philippe.
There you go.
And I didn't hate it because it was paired with good things. It's like avocado, grapefruit, and raw tuna. And those 3 things by themselves I don't like. Together, I was like, I see why this is put together. And I've heard it was a crowd favorite. Not to circle back to that, but.
No, I'm glad you did.
All
It's
the
art.
Yeah, literally. I looked at it from an artist perspective.
Look at you.
Yes.
Well, you are listening to the Daily Memphian Sound Bites podcast with me. I'm Holly Whitfield, digital director for Daily Memphian. Today we are talking with reporter Sophia Surrett about new restaurants in Memphis, her food journey, moving here from Birmingham, trying all the good Memphis eats. If you are tuning in on WYXR, keep listening for The Sidebar with Eric Barnes and his guests, Mary Casciola, Jane Donahoe, and myself after this. If you're listening on your podcast app, be sure to subscribe. We have quite a few Daily Memphian podcasts. I just shout out Sidebar, but we also are back with the Tigers podcast with Frank Bonner and Greg Gaston. We have Grizzlies pod with Drew Hill and Chris Harrington and lots of other good stuff. DailyMemphian.com. You can find all of our podcasts. But now is the time that I have been teasing a little bit throughout this episode, which is the new article series that Sophia has been working on. It is in the same vein as the Inked column if you are a reader of our commercial real estate coverage on Daily Memphian, which I hope you are. But if you're more of a food person, which I totally understand, you may be excited to learn about the
Memphis Food Files.
Yes. Tell us what Memphis Food Files is and going to be.
So the Memphis Food Files is a roundup of new restaurants or new expansions, franchises coming into the coming into the city. And so, for example, or if there's reopening. So for Hook Fish and Chicken, that is probably going to open between late spring 2024 and early summer 2024. But it used to be open, but it did shut down. And I think they are renovating it, doing a whole remodel, which is going to take until the late spring and early summer 2024. So those are the types of articles and different topics that I'll be talking about.
But it's a roundup. So you get a full list of different things. It's like this place, all in the same article.
Yes. So little blurbs about all in the same article about different restaurants or franchises coming into the city or the city surrounding the downtown area. And so there's a new Starbucks coming to Memphis on Covington Pike. There's a Chick-fil-A coming to Arlington.
We have the Chick-fil-A beat thriving here at Daily Memphian.
We love Chick-fil-A, if we're allowed to say that.
Sure.
We
love writing about the Chick-fil-A.
We love writing about the Chick-fil-A. There's also a tropical smoothie cafe in Arlington that's coming up, which I haven't really... Is there a tropical smoothie cafe around here in Memphis?
There's one at Kirby and Poplar. It's been a long time since I've been to one, so...
Yeah, I love smoothies, but I haven't really just...
gone all in on the tropical smoothie cafe. Yeah.
And I will say this. I live in downtown, and so there is a bunch of franchises, but with more of the kind of the fast casual restaurant type.
We have some local-ish places or some franchises that are making their first appearance in Memphis coming up soon. One that I was really interested in is going to happen at 409 South Main, which used to be the Puck Food Hall. Yeah. Can you tell us about that one?
I definitely can. So Fable is
the name.
Fable is the name.
Okay.
It'll be on the first floor, technically second since there's a basement.
Got it.
Where Lucky Cowboy is. So Lucky Cowboy's on the bottom, and then there's Fable, which is the fine dining concept. That should be ready probably early 2024, I believe.
They'll tell you that, but we never know when restaurants are actually going to open. We just have to go with the ballpark.
Yeah, I went in there the other day, and they're working on it. I can tell you that there is movement in the building.
Nice.
But it looks great in there. I saw the vision for sure. Inside of it was just a really open, nice concept, and there's 3 different stories of seating inside of Fable.
Okay.
There'll be when you walk in. It'll be that level. And then you go up a half flight of stairs, another level. And then you'll go up 2 half flights. So I guess a
separated
full flight of stairs.
Yeah.
Yes. To a top kind of overlooking the bottom.
Right. The mezzanine kind of situation.
Yes. Mezzanine. Fancy word.
There you go.
Yes. So a mezzanine. There's going to be a bunch of things offered there. And, there's also a third of the third floor is an event space. A lot of weddings have been hosted there. And
tons, yeah.
Yeah, and they'll now they'll use Fable's kitchen to kind of provide the food and things like that. But I will say Lucky Cowboy had food at the bottom, which was made by the same people, same chefs that are going to be at Fable.
What's the status of Lucky Cowboy? Do you know? Open. It's open? Okay. Is it still just weekends only?
I believe so.
Yeah.
But I will say great vibes, great food. When I first walked in, it felt like I was going into a different dimension.
Right. It's like a speakeasy kind of vibe in that basement level at 409 South Main. They've been open for a while, but they closed. And
they had a pop-up.
Okay.
And now they have their actual location in the basement, which I think the basement is a perfect place for a place like that. You walk in, lights are kind of low, but it's at the same time, there's a bunch of different lights coming from the different small rooms that have different themes for them. But their food was great. They have little donut holes.
Ooh.
Or no, they were beignets.
Yes.
Tastes like donut holes, but amazing. Yeah, so Lucky Cowboy Wednesday and Thursdays, and then Friday and Saturday. They had brisket sandwiches. One of the best brisket little sandwiches I've ever had. It was so good. So good. So I recommend getting that. It had this aioli sauce on it. I think it was horseradish aioli.
That sounds about right. Yeah. I've never eaten there, only had drinks, so, I'll have to correct that.
The drinks were good too. But like that food really blew me away.
This is great. This is something you can try now, and then also something to look forward to with the Fable upstairs.
Exactly.
Speaking of fancy places, historic buildings, I did want to ask you what you knew about what's in store at the 19th Century Club building on Union Avenue.
So that's the tequila. So it's called Modern Tequila, but it's called tequila.
People don't say Modern Tequila. They're going to just call it tequila with a K.
With a K.
That's the restaurant name spelling.
Tekila. Okay. Because I asked the owner this. I was like, so what's the story behind that? And he said he wanted tequila because it's important in his heritage. He's Hispanic. And I was like, totally. And he was like, but we wanted a different spelling because tequila, tequila's already branded as the alcohol, as Tequila.
Okay.
And he was like,
we're just going to use the K.
Yeah. We're going to.
All right.
Yeah. He said that that's how people would think to spell it if they never saw it on paper, if they hadn't heard of tequila before.
Fair enough.
So he said he wanted to put it with Tekila. And I was like, well.
And they have a location in like South Haven.
South Haven, yes. I've heard great things about their food. I've heard he described it as modern Mexican restaurant that it's very authentic but upscale. Okay. So I think that
and the price point probably reflects that.
Yes, the price point does reflect that. And so I will say it is pricey, but I've heard it's worth it for the food quality and for the food presentation. Because I know their quality in the presentation is something they focus on for their more upscale restaurant of tequila. And they also have another concept. It's called Tequila Bar and Grill, maybe?
Okay, so it's like the same name, but just...
Same name, different concept. And it is about, I'm pretty sure it's just kind of like a less expensive, more chill version of tequila.
Like a taco spot?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
So everyone's going to be very confused about all the different tequilas. I can tell you that. But you're going to set us straight.
Yes. The one at the 19th Century Country... is it a country club or just club?
Just club.
Club is Tequila Modern Mexican. And he said the reason that he loved this building for it is because it's exactly what he wanted. It's exactly what Tequila Modern Mexican he wants to look like. If you look up the one in South Haven, it's this huge building, multiple stories. Honestly, it might just be two. That's multiple to me, but
yeah, it is. Rooftop situation going on there.
Huge, gorgeous. Has like a white building with kind of like a more modern black and white feel to it. And so I think he wanted to kind of have that same feeling. But I will say, I think the 19th Century Club is a little more Victorian, maybe?
It's just more, it's a historic building rather than like a brand new one. So I don't know. It sounds like branding a little all over the place, but you know what? If the food is good, then we will eat it.
Exactly.
We as Memphians.
Yes.
So we will.
I think we should give it a shot.
Let's give it a shot.
Yeah. South Haven, now Memphis. We'll have to talk to some South Havens. South Havens.
Yeah, what are they called?
South Havenites.
South Havenites.
Well, I'm sure someone will let us know exactly what they're supposed to be called if they are listening.
Please let us know.
So there is a lot. There are so many more places that we could talk about that you've written about, but people should definitely tune into your Memphis food files.
Yes.
As far as this episode of Sound Bites, that's basically all of the time that we have. Thank you so much for being with us today, Sophia, and introducing yourself.
It's been so much fun.
Yeah, and you're going to continue to learn about the city. I'm sure people will have plenty of tips and ideas for you. So you can tune in to WYXR every Thursday at 11 a.m. to hear Sound Bites. Or, of course, you can listen wherever you get your podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, whatever strange apps that you have found to download your podcasts that are different after Stitcher died. Rest in peace, Stitcher. Of course, you can also listen to dailymemphian.com. Thank you again, Sophia. I am Holly Whitfield, and we will be back next week to talk more Memphis food and dining.